Welcome to the lovely IHP paid and free subscriber community. And anyone who is new, I get to be the 5D mystic who shares with you how fun it is for the body and connection people to know that yoga and spiritual stuff is all helpful. We had a lovely live TikTok today, and we got to discuss about this beautiful 7-7 portal from yesterday, how those of us who navigate the ascension energies with love, we are completely able to have a good time. And then I chit-chatted a little bit about this and that, and the good time doesn't mean that everything is perfect, no, but we know the body and connection, so we know eustress. And we're going to keep chit-chatting a little bit about that, and thanks to our Sadhguru who shares with us a lovely quote. Let me find it. As he shares, good intentions are not enough. It takes the right action performed with the right consciousness to produce the necessary results. And today our lovely Dr. Amy, she was sharing, it is, why am I not getting better? And so she's helping anyone who wants to know why you are still in survival mode, even after years of therapy and healing work. And Dr. Amy, a PGN, okay, so APIGIAN, the Biology of Trauma, our podcast with Dr. Amy. And if the body has what it needs, as she shares, it will heal. And I totally agree. If the body has a person who wants to heal, then they will get there. I have a body that is healed, which is why when someone says, this is what they tell you about healing, but this is what it looks like, and they're scribbling on it, no, not for securely attached, self-led human beings who have a body and connection. And it could be my genes, but basically I don't have any child parts that are still charged. I don't do self-righteousness or resentment. I can get in my little frustrated butthole, yes, and usually that comes up with my mom and my twin, because that is where my trauma time still is, and that's because I was allowed to get in my little pissy butthole. So when you are a grown-up, it's called functional child adults here at IHP. So our good intentions, yes, we know that they're not good enough, meaning it's not enough to hope that one day our future generations have water, and that we hope they don't freeze or die of heat, and that they can breathe air, our intentions. And that's why I mentioned, yes, you can get Chat GPT and AI to give you tips for what to do on 7-7 ascension portals, but here's the practical stuff. Anger comes up, sadness comes up, fear comes up, and it's neutral, because I'm using my prefrontal cortex, and emotions last 90 seconds for the body that is in a connected state. That's the people who are going to say yes to paid subscriber content because they enjoy contemplating thoughts and emotions. Personality Development Podcast is for people who think and feel deeply. We discussed that in the shorts, and those who also know how to explore and become more of their self. So they enjoy spiritual growth and personal development, and they say, yes, self-help. It's not, I want life now. Okay, so the right action is when you are looking from your prefrontal, because you don't have an agenda with your destructive mode, the not so brilliant adaptive child part. So when someone's I'm the right one, and they're getting in each other's faces with anger, or the ones who quietly, so please, appease, attach, cry, collapse, submit, those are 3 ways of safety behaviors of people, in addition to flight, fight, freeze, flop, drop. And I see bountiful of fake ones out there, and they think people don't like honesty or the facts. So yes, I spot the adaptive child part people. It's not a losing strategy. It's just a bunch of Peter Pan's lost boys, and they are all spiritual bypassers, savior complex, and they think that they are the only owners of everything, stuff like that. So, self-preserving brains. They do not perform with the right consciousness because their amygdala is what they're using, and their frontal lobes are flopped down. As neuroscientists will explain the difference, and neurobiologists and mental health professionals, of an integrated brain, that's an emotionally mature, invincible human being with a flow state. Because apparently someone said that we are not emotionally invincible, the securely attached people. Do you know how they said it? This is what they said. They said, it's not like securely attached people are emotionally invincible. They only had a good start, that's all. If you give them the cold shoulder, watch them spiral down in hell. And I'm like, where? Do you do the temporal junction and ruminate a lot by any chance? That I don't waste God's precious gift, because I'm, got a gift of life. I don't waste this on doing any of that. That stuff is really not something. I'm an entrepreneur. I like to create content and support people with fun exercises. So no, not really. I mean, masculines, I saw many of them as I was a kid growing up, and I'm an empowered feminine because I have a body that's in connection. That's why I'm an empowered feminine. My empowered masculine is my integrated brain, because masculine all by itself, ego, really doesn't do much. But Maria's right mode does really great. Default mode went down regulated. My default mode network is not doing, let me get thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh my God. Oh no, they just rejected me. What might I do? I was 4, I got rejected. I went crying home to my mom. I don't do that anymore. Now I just know how to, it's okay. They don't like me. But I'll be good, because I got friends. I got family. I got air and water and food. Look. I really never understood why those people in college, they were miserable. I told them not to, and they said, no. I said, you just told me you're more lonely. I don't understand. And then they want to call the polyamory community whores. I'm like, wow, really? Not really. Come again? Masochist? No, not healthy self-worth ones. No, it's not everyone, actually, but that's funny. They're making me laugh right now. I'm having a good time right now. I'm playing with words. Oh yes, by the way, words don't mean much to empowered people, because we try to figure out, are we on the same wavelength? Am I speaking in a way of lost in translation? I don't use words the right way sometimes. I've been made aware of this. Just saying, I'm a 3-year-old who has no fucking clue how to use words. No, I'm not doing it on purpose. Okay, so let's, again, right consciousness. It's an integrated brain. That's when you're pure consciousness and pure energy. So when you meet spiritual bypassers using words, you're going to notice they got a lot of fluff. I give you the human elements. That's why the TikTok was amazing, as I began to chit chat and share with people. Okay, you do know Patrick McNamara, right? You do know about the Stephen Porges stuff, right? You do know about your body, right? You own the solo stuff, right? Okay, do you own? So I didn't get to engage, but I let them know I use mindful mindset all the time when Ascension days are up, and look how amazing it is. But there are people who think we're fakos because they scribble on a board, and then there's those who say, I just want a world that isn't about what feels right, what is right. And look, they can't just cry all of a sudden. That's propaganda. Here, let me show you a book. So pseudo-intellectuals are amazing. So are the stingy ones with the envy, jealousy, spiteful currency. And I'm like, Gary Vee, they need you. Go catch that guy. Nah, he's too busy. Gary Vee's doing an awesome job with his community. And I like to quote him every now and then because he's amazing. I love how he shared what soft skills are in the hard skills of doing business. You're awesome, Gary. You're successful. I know it. And I've always liked him, although I don't follow him all the time because, I don't do the same lingo. But he has been authentic since the day I have seen him. And online, obviously, I haven't had the honor or pleasure to meet him. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't watch my content because there's no mysticism there. I'm woo-woo pseudoscience. I'm okay with that, but I get it. I'm not for everyone. Because come on, mystics, you know it. You know it. Don't be sad. I saw this person. So when did you come out of the closet? Was it easy for you? Was it easy? I'm like, wow, are those mean girls and teenagers and self-doubt? Is this, how old are you? Please tell me you're like 18 or something, because I'm getting older and I just begin to think you have to be way younger than me because you lack complete confidence. And I'm just like thinking, come out. Come again. Now, you will read in the chapter, my chapter from The Ways to God. I'm a co-author. It's called God is Discerning and Quantumous Love. So you'll read it, but I'm going to still share it. Perform with the right consciousness to produce the necessary results. Thank you, Sadhguru. Okay, so when you are an integrated brain, there's your right consciousness because you got your right foot in and your left foot in and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey. So an integrated brain, and that's what it's all about. So I get to recalibrate when I have any people around me. That's because I differentiate. And that's because you don't lose yourself. My self-image is not the moral perfectionist because I am definitely polyamory and therefore people think I have no morality. And perfectionism, no, I have a bunch of grammar errors. And I definitely will not kill myself over any of it because God, hello, but I am pro-choice because I believe in you having the right to do whatever you want, and I don't play God because that's exactly what a person who doesn't know who God is doesn't do. I don't play God at all. It's called humility. Ego doesn't buffoonery the self of the person who knows exactly what it means. Sure, everyone is source. Yes, a piece of it. There's only one big source, and that's still the same one God, and you can use whatever words you want. It is going to be an amazing journey for those who do know Enlightenment Soul Age Group Anima Mundi. It's a big melting pot right here. I know galactic beings, and I met Bashar, and as he's talking about something, like, yep, I know them too, Bashar, you're awesome, I like you, I need to follow you a little bit more. So I met Bashar online. Again, I meet a bunch of people online, and remember, as Patrick Tiahan points out, those who have had childhood trauma, our triggers, he says, often prevent us from seeing the other person's humanity. Yes, and as Dr. Daniel Fox presents, imagine somebody doubting a kind person more. And then imagine somebody misinterpreting neutral and positive signals and messages because they just know evil. Nope, not evil in a way of Lucifer, no. Michael Stone, forensic criminologist scale, they all end up in prison. And I'm so sorry. Those who did not heal their 3-year-old, and we have a fight response, adaptive child part people, the ones who are cowards and don't go to Patrick Tiahan or Terrio so that they can become grown-ups and know that objective reality has no place in any personal relationships, which is all 8 billion people and growing. So when someone says, I want a world where it's not about what feels right, what is right, you obviously don't know that what you just did, cynic on a screen in your survival mode, wow, it's about all of your feels. And oh, let me not forget, as lovely Dr. Amy points out in Neuroception Explained, how your nervous system, wait for it, because these are smart ass people, and you'd think that people would notice about themselves stuff, but everyone makes sense of themselves. I make sense of myself. Difference is I take ownership of Maria's whiny ass. Just ask my mother. She's the one who hears about it, and my twin. Neuroception Explained, how your nervous system decides what's safe and why it matters for healing. The Biology of Trauma, our podcast with Dr. Amy. How neuroception, it is what determines our response to everything in any moment of our life. It is not based on reality, it is based on one's perception, Dr. Amy. It's not willpower or motivation, nope. It's the body's security system constantly asking one question. Should I stay or should I go now? No, not that one. Am I safe right now or am I in danger? Mine doesn't ask me that because I'm like, I'm safe, you're safe, you're not a physical threat. If you are, my gut will say so, and I won't involve you. I don't negotiate with people in my physical safety. I told this person 3 times, if you dunk me one more time in the water, I won't be going in the water with you anymore. They laughed, they did it again, and I never, ever went into the water again. Look at the teenager in me. Did I forgive them? Yes, but I never will go in the water again. Did they lose my trust? Completely. And they said, stop being so serious. I said, I don't care. I'm not going in the water again because you're continuing to laugh at me getting scared, which means you don't care about me at all. Doesn't mean you want evil for me. No, you just don't care that I am actually physically afraid and you're making fun of me. And I'm not feeling ashamed. I'm completely objectively saying you care not that emotionally I'm afraid. And so this is funny for you somehow. For me it is not. And you can keep saying I'm too serious. I'm going to stare you down again. So this was when I was a teenager, and the brain is running a model of its body. Thank you, Lisa Feldman Barrett. And I didn't apply effective realism, which is something else. Wait for it. Powerful emotions feel like irrefutable facts. Kristen Lindquist. So I didn't say you're an actual asshole. I just said you're an asshole that likes to scenefuly make fun of me while I'm very, very afraid, which is not funny to me as I'm fearful. And so again, it's not, I don't need to call you a bully. I don't need to call you a name. I'm going to take action, and that's consciously in the absence of projecting, because God taught me how not to. Don't cast a stone. Remember your brothers and sisters. And who's God? Only one. Yes, I remember. That's where humility comes in. So with all the scientists, I got to be even more humbled, which is why I will not be treating any of my brothers or sisters who have shame with shame or blame or fault or revenge. I will be doing, it's not about decency. I'm not doing enough to be saluted. And no, I won't become friends. I reiterated my statement. I didn't yell in their face. I didn't actually make fun of them, because that's actually very insulting. So when people think that we want to belittle them, no, I'm not going to judge you. Don't look at me. I know what everybody says. I'm an alcoholic. I didn't look at you like that. I didn't call you an alcoholic. There's a friend of mine. And by the third time, finally, they kept looking, and I kept repeating, and we became friends, because I wasn't judging them. Do they have a problem with? Yes, they do. I can't make them go, because I'm not part of their family, and I have no way to say this is something. No, I actually have talked to them about this, as them and I are friends. And they were making some joke one evening about them doing their family a favor. I said, what, cirrhosis of the liver? Oh, no, I'm doing them a favor. I said, you do realize what cirrhosis of the liver is, right? I'm just asking. Do you think that that's going to help your family if you end up in I have a grandpa, he ended up with something. I forget if it was that one or not, but I'm just saying, I'm not trying to bring down the mood. I'm just asking. And the person, they just kept on going. No. I said, okay, I can't insist. I was just trying to make a point. No, I wasn't. I was just talking. And people who know that when we're talking, it's because we care, they will know, but they will, like Terrio points out, be able to make sense to themselves, which is quite not fascinating. So brilliant minds, when our destructive modes, it's the adaptive child part who's denying themselves. We cannot rebuild having faith in humanity and people until we talk about how it got broke. And so, as Terry Rio points out, we make sense to each other. And as Patrick Tian points out, those who have had trauma and they are survivors, he's still on a lifelong journey to accept people as they are, to reclaim having faith in people, and in short, he says to give people a break and to know that they're humans, so not to put them on pedestals, not to put them beneath. That's why he knows what healthy self-worth is, like I do. So you're mystic, spiritual, mindful in our 5D collective. When you have a body and connection, you don't have the ego with self-righteousness or resentment. You don't need to get angry and pissy in people's faces. And when we have brilliant, not brilliant minds, we don't shame them, because that's ridiculously insulting and unkind and unnecessary, unless you're a pompous asshole who thinks you've ever walked one day in someone's shoes, who has, yes, emotional immaturity because of stuff that has taken place that you have no idea about. So common courtesy and decency with sciences proves what spirituality taught me with Jesus, God, Holy Spirit. You do not cast a stone. And anybody who actually believes that they are allowed to is somebody that I will not say anything to, because the minute that you tell me that you're a bigger shot, hey, Cusco, you looking good, adaptive child part. That's it. I'm done with you, because you have a brain who just took your ego and made yourself out to be a person who's a know-it-all, when you don't know anything about that other person's embodied brain, and you are claiming to know their emotional, mental, and everything, and that is not true. Liar, pants on fire. You're a mask, you're grandiose, you just dehumanized your brother or sister or whoever it is, and you made it about you, and you're actually wanting me to pat you on the back, which I will not do, because in that moment you're upset, and you're denying it, and you're emotional, and you're denying it, and there's your effective realism, and there's your adaptive child who's self-preserving, self-righteous, resentful, with anger, and every single moment that I'm wasting with someone like that, I won't. So I will allow myself to let you all know how easy it is for a person who's a body in connection to stay at ease with God chiming in, and dark matter and dark energy, and just stare someone down and do nothing except for breathe. So as Patrick Tiahan points out, he doesn't put people on pedestals or beneath. I already don't do either or, because I'm standing and facing you, and then I'll be letting you know what I think in the best way possible with respect. And if you say your tone, whatever, I'm so sorry. Let me reorganize myself. I'm so sorry. And people will think you're actually teasing them. And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to figure out a way to communicate. But if you, and this isn't working, then I'm going to say we should end it right here, because obviously this must not be a flow state for us. So it's very easy for a person who has self-confidence and empowerment and enlightenment and everything, mystic or not, to address a person with the ventral vagal state, as Deb Dana has pointed out, and many more. And that is the one thing a 3-year-old doesn't like, No, the 16-year-old doesn't like it. The 3-year-old doesn't really give a shit. The 16-year-old is being put in their place, and because my nervous system is speaking to theirs, and I'm in a mammalian heritage, which is not threatened, they will not be able to stay in their safety behavior because they're calibrating to mine, because that's their optimized version. And that's also because I'm not offended, and I'm not actually nudging with any of their little pokety stuff. So I'm not in a let me have some fist with you. And that's subconsciously. So there's no unfinished business here, functioning or child adult. So I don't have to deal with people and any of that, which would be Maria's child parts, because there's not. It's only with mom and twin, because I was a 3-year-old. That's trauma. It's not deletable or erasable, but you are going to be able to uncharge all of it and become that personal development, as Terrio points out, personal growth. That's with safe haven, secure based people. So we get to bring out the best of each other when we are functional child adults. And here at IHP, we all care about healing trauma seriously. So we don't act like buffoons to our brothers and sisters. And that's because obviously, if you're going to still be here right now, you like to have a body and connection and an integrated brain and an intelligent mind to be yourself. The real way, mystic, spiritual, or mindful, not the fake ways. Facades are very boring. Let me read. So, as he shares, we are all battling, those who are healing from childhood trauma with him, the insanity of our families, societies, and ourselves. Securely attached, self-led people don't battle anything because we already know what we come with. The ones who battle, again, they're battling to become the people who can stand up for themselves in any way and shape or form with what Patrick Jan or Terrio shares with them to support them, to become grown-ups. And so when we are triggered, he says, especially by those close to us, we lose sight of their humanity. He says in our minds, they become incredibly thoughtless and oblivious. They become manipulative. They become loose cannons. They become terrifying. They become cowardly. They become someone who is about to cut us or leave us or both. He says it's essential to know our family story and understand that we usually over-defend ourselves with the wrong person when triggered. And what I mean, he says, is that we go back to the original battlefield with the people who abused us, or the original battle. And that's the trauma time that Pat Ogden talks about. People who didn't hold the door for me, or girlfriends who were 30 minutes late, became just like my family in my mind, selfish people who were letting me down on purpose. So letting down on purpose. You'll notice when people are not healing from trauma with someone like Patrick Tihan, the emotionally immature person, they want love, not work or maturity. So they will say, you're doing this on purpose. They will continue in a charged state, by the way, and with self-righteousness and with their ego in the room. They're not trying to do it on purpose. They're not thinking. They're reactive. And that's why when Nutshell, Therapy in a Nutshell lady interviewed another lovely woman who says, here's how to handle emotionally immature people, not mature. Someone's like, that sounds real tiresome. That person needs a therapist too, because they don't know how to navigate their nervous system and their prefrontal and to understand what just got explained to them, which is the other person doesn't know how to do it. So when you have two emotionally immature people, they're codependent and they really would want a hug and more, but they don't want to do the hugging, and then they expect each other to basically be what the other isn't, and there's your expectations, which means that they don't really trust each other. No, they just want to have each other be what the other wants them to be, and that's on an emotional level. So not knowing how to self-regulate in your ventral vagal state is what these individuals, not knowing how to differentiate is what these individuals who will feel tired out. It's not an energy vampire, dark aura. There's no entities attached to people. When you have an embodied brain, neuroscientists explain how your brain works and what happens with nightmares and a fear receptor and decentralizing of the self. Patrick McNamara doesn't disprove anything about those of us who have spiritual experiences, downloading, channeling. And when I came out with the mysticism stuff, I didn't feel like, oh my God, my family doesn't believe me. Duh, there's a bunch of people who don't know what it's like to be a mystic, so them belittling, it's on them, not on us. I don't feel ashamed or shy or, oh no, let me stop talking about it. In fact, my facade friend at one point, he's like, Maria, are you sure you know, he made a comment about a bunch of different pictures I had, and I could tell that he was like, my friend's a whack job. I'm like, no, I'm not, but it's okay. Now I know that you have been lying to me this entire time. So when people don't know how to tell you things in your face, there's a bounty full of people who don't know how to speak up. I don't know why, because I can always speak up. And there's that. Being self-confident means that you don't have shyness of saying, if I did do something wrong, just tell me. Maybe I can work on it. If I can't, I'll tell you I can't. And so people, again, that don't heal well, they will think people are doing things on purpose, and they won't notice that they're emotionally charged. While when I get emotionally charged, I will know of it, I will take ownership of it, I will be able to share it, and then I will be able to continue to talk about it. And those who are emotionally, mentally, and physically mature, the ones who do love the inner growth mindset practices, and that's paid and free, they're okay with it. Again, we're all different, so subjective experience is normal in a objective subjective world, because we all feel first and then we think. And then as you own the sense of self, you're not like comparing yourself to another person, you're just differentiating. And the anger, nobody corrects anyone, whether it's God or dark matter, dark energy. You know how to, again, continue to regulate and to be able to speak to people. And that's because there's this thing called firm kindness. Thank you, Terry Rio, for that. I know all about it. And here's where God, he is discerning and quantumous love. Like I titled the chapter I write in the book I'm a co-author of, The Ways to God. And that's because it's not a fear-mongering, scary monster from the sky. It's going to be, no, that's not the frequency of God, of intelligence, of life. Life isn't a frequency of aggression that is ill. The ones who get in their fields, they're using an amygdala. It's unfortunate, 4D, 3D. They completely, download, channel all of it, but their body is in protection and their brain is in the biochemistry of fear, alert, alert, alert. And their frontal lobes are flopped down because the dark sides of neuroplasticity is what they're using. Because that's exactly how it gets explained when you're going to meet someone who's in survival mode, who's suspicious of everyone and anything. I'm going to watch my fucking back all the time. That's not going to be healthy. Your suspicious mind is going to have you do small things. You're going to be calculative, stressed out. Your left brain, that's what's working. Your right brain, you have no access to your emotional stuff, your trauma chart, none of it. You don't even know your window of tolerance yet, let alone making it into a window welcome to your affect and emotional plane. So it's straightforward, those who don't handle their emotions well, because they come in like Cusco and or Yzma and or Diego's family from Ice Age and so on and so forth. So it is lonely and tough, he says, to be in the world with that mindset, because who is the real aggressor, he says? I was. And so it was where nobody understands me. That's, I think, what he's meaning by it's lonely and tough to be in the world of everyone's doing something on purpose, to let me down on purpose. Look, once again, someone's done something that's hurt my... It's called learned helplessness as well. And I was tough on others when I was triggered. He says, over time, as that trauma subsided and healed, I became more chill and understood that people were just in their own life, in their world, and probably just trying to do their best. It's very fun to be those of us who do know how to use mindful mindset, again, during ascension energies, and then as securely attached, self-led, mystics, spiritual, and mindfully living, loving people. We know that inconsistencies are what they are: fear of intimacy, fear of emotional vulnerability, fear of being yourself in connection. And again, while you can get chat, GPT, AI, and a lot more to support you during spiritual ascension, personal development, and all of that, the person who can relate to you and then let you know what a body and connection is like, one, integration brain, two, but also being objectively objective of your subjective emotional charges in a way of you take ownership. You don't become angry in a way that casts a stone on anyone, because science explains to you exactly what's going on in the embodied brain of every single one of your 8 billion brothers and sisters. And they don't have to be your brothers and sisters if you don't like that, but they're humans like you. And then from the small to the big scale. And so when you break it down, those of us who are of love frequency, Christ consciousness, know how to stay in a body in connection all the time, not just sometimes, because we're doing eustress, because we have the depth of the emotional, mental, and physical plane, because that's why mindfulness practitioner with the inner growth mindset with mind sight skills, sifting Maria's sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. I'm not deluded by my imagination, intelligent mind, or my implicit, explicit memory or biases. What I know is when I see a little kid throw a can on the floor, it reminds me of the little kids I saw when I was a kid, and then it reminds me of grown-ups who don't want to do anything, anything for our environment. And yet they play Russian roulette on screen thinking they love their children and or the bosom of the woman. Okay then, wow. I am so unattracted to every single bit of pseudo-intellectual and bullshit that I see out there. When I see idiocy, Maria, this human being, it's not even about God, mysticism. I actively am unattracted to idiocy. I just need to look away. Luckily for me, I get to watch them all on internet, because otherwise I really would not want to be in the presence of those. And I'm pretty sure there's only maybe one human being on the face of this planet, and luckily, you know, she's my like, she'll keep in the download and download, or whatever the word is, and so we can talk about it and they leave it alone. So, you know, it's not fun for people to be able to notice things because it's not anybody's fault that they didn't go to Patrick Jahan to heal their trauma. And with Terreal, you know, we leave it alone. So again, I do my best to not be the know-it-all, as God did teach me that part, and then to let you all know it's fun to be a body that is in connection and a mind that is integrated, or a brain that's integrated. So again, 5D Mystic, spiritual self-help, mindful mentor, podcast host, content creator, spiritual and science human voice. And remember, there's a couple variations of my voice out there. So you can check out TikTok lives, join our community there. Again, using mindful mindset to pursue personal and spiritual growth with the Ascension energies. So Ascension days, they're all around. July is going to be fun. If you want to become a paid subscriber, the link is below on YouTube. If you're hearing me, it's on the main page. If you want one-to-one mentorship, you can email me about that. Sign up for the workshops, retreats, and sign up for the masterclass. And you can expect in the content for paid subscribers for us to have a light version of the masterclass and other types of pieces of content. And if you're curious, it's inner growth mindset exercises with readings, and inner growth mindset exercises with spotlights. And I might also mix it up, exercises, readings, spotlights. And I do believe, in addition to yesterday's portal, which was expanding the crown, and the new moon brought us some stuff that we got to bring forth, expand on, there's a full moon at some point coming up. So I'm going to be doing some spreads for that for our paid subscribers. And again, join the TikTok lives. I might be integrating the spiritual guidance with the tarot there, because they're a bit more welcoming of that, and they've organized it very effectively for me to be able and bring to you. But obviously, as you do know, since TikTok is maybe yes, maybe no, I look forward to when we also will have membership on YouTube, and then we have Patreon membership that I'm going to set up as well. So just stay tuned. And worst case scenario, I believe, use Instagram, which is my least favorite of the platforms for reasons that are really something personal right here. No other reason except for that. But if our community continues to grow and somehow I get not the possibility to do TikTok, I'll probably use whatever means I can to bring to you that which is guidance. And so again, thanks for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe, and share with anybody who you do know wants body and connection and is in body and connection and or can access it, integrated mind, and they take seriously healing their trauma and being in that frequency of love, moving forth, and they're okay with having a woo pseudoscience mystic lady chit chat about the galactic beings and our ascension and all the fun stuff, because I know some of you aren't into it. So thank you for listening. You can just treat it like a sci-fi movie or whatever you want to call it, but it's better, because we do love to love, live, laugh, learn, expand, and not cast stones. And I do love God, dark matter, dark energy, please don't implode, and the galactic beings. Yes, I do know them. They're amazing. Yeah, they actively, cosmic karmic balance. I mean, the truth is, I am not afraid for a reason when I get to be told consistently by those beautiful beings, everything's gonna be all right. And that's why I think of all the ones who are boring sciences and they're scribbling all over the place. This is what healing looks like. No, some of us, we began. I'm an Akashic record reader on the top of the book. I did know I got lucky. So what can I say? I will be at ease with telling you all my genes, the alleles. That's what actually got me biologically lucky in this embodied brain, body, and connection. And then, yes, I am lucky because God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, who wouldn't be lucky? Buddha, I love you too, man. I just make fun of the suffering bit. You know that already. I got a bunch of people at my council. I did the LBLT. Amazing. Now, seriously, I had 2 groups. Over here, all the religious figures. There's like 12 or 24. I didn't count because there's too many and I was spending so much time. And then over here, we got a bunch of more. And I got people from the future. Actually, I think it's myself from the future. But then I got an octopus who's like, I was like, wow, the octopus, cool. Well, I think you probably said save the water. I'm totally on with it. Everyone wants to save the water. I love to go swimming. Under the sea. I was a mermaid in one of my lifetimes. I was. A lot of lifetimes. You know, it's fun when you meet people who aren't mystics and they're like, oh, wow, really? So were you always... And I'm like, what do you think? If we're all energy, what do you think? Let me ask you. Okay, so again, we'll be back with more. And once we have tears, we'll talk more about the fun stories and our workshops and retreats, of course. Who doesn't want to talk about our lifetimes? But we don't want to spend too much time in the stars. You know what I mean? Like, we have things to do, places to be, people to see, 2 hands, 2 feet. Come on, scooch. So saving the planet. That's spot on, exactly why, as our lovely Sadhguru shares. Let me go grab the quote, just in case you didn't hear it the first time around. Hold on. And here he is. Good intentions are not enough. It takes the right action performed with the right consciousness to produce the necessary results. And so, yes, we all want to get together. Let's get together. Yeah. We can have a lot of fun. And luckily, there's a lot of smart entrepreneurs out there who do care, and they're geniuses. And then the flat earthers, they entertain us. And there you go. So thank you for stopping by again. Have a good one.